Yes, I'm recording now. So
excellent. Thank you, Andy. Good evening and welcome to February 23rd meeting of the Greater Augusta Utility District. Tonight we're doing a total Zoom meeting due to the weather. So second one in a row. So apparently time of the year. Anyways, welcome everybody. And let's go around and introduce board members, starting with, I can't tell because I can't see. So somebody start. There we go. Let's start with Bob.
Bob Corey, Augusta trustee.
Good evening, Brad Sawyer, Augusta trustee.
Cecil Munson, Augusta trustee.
Pat Harity, Augusta trustee. Can you hear me?
Yes.
What do I hit? Brian, what do I hit if to get in there?
You're fine.
I can see you, but I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear us.
I can hear you guys, but you can't hear me.
No, we
No,
can hear you.
We got you.
I can
Yep,
hear you just fine.
Okay.
You're doing good, sir.
I'm Keith Luke. I'm a non-voting member representing the city administration.
And I'm Kara Tubman Walker. Sorry, I seem to be having some camera issues this evening that I'll try to rectify, but I'm a Hollowell trustee.
It's Tim Dennett on tonight. He might be out taking care of some building. So I guess we got everybody we got. How about God personnel tonight?
I can start. Mike Payne, Finance Director.
Andy Began, Assistant General Manager.
My name's Brian Tarbuck. I'm general manager, and Randy Taylor's actually gonna talk tonight. So Randy, if you're not muted, pipe up. Still muted. Okay. And that's it for us.
And we got some consultants here tonight. Go ahead for consultants, starting with communications.
Good evening, everybody. Meredith Strang Burgess, communications consultant.
And Alan Burton, human resource consultant.
Excellent. I think that covers everybody. And you let me know when Randy needs to. I guess I'll probably see it on the agenda here at some point. Any other agenda additions tonight, Brian?
No.
Okay, moving on. Let's get into old business and approval of the meeting minutes. And is it either Andy or are you guys going to call the roll every time? Andy,
Yeah, I'll do it.
So
I move to accept the board meeting minutes of January 26th.
we'll hear a second.
Second.
Okay, all those in any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Do the roll, please.
Bob Corey,
Yes.
Brad Sawyer,
Aye.
Cecil Munson,
Yes.
Keith Luke. Oh, sorry, Keith. Ken Knight
Aye.
and Pat Parody.
Aye.
Did I forget any voting members? I
Kara,
think I got them all.
is Kara doing in line for Keith tonight?
Yes, I'm having extreme technical difficulties
Yes,
this
she is.
evening, but
Thank you,
All
Kara.
right, we got you.
Yep.
all.
I think we got everybody. So moving on, let's get into the rate committee update. And I think there's we get some action. I think you got a schedule here tonight in your packet. Bob, anything you want to say in this?
Yeah, I do. I just want to say we didn't meet this month. The most important thing is on page 16 is the time schedule line in the packet that Brian was able to put together for us. And again, March 27th is an important date. That time we're going to be setting March 23rd and for the meeting on setting the rate.
Okay, any discussion? Any questions for Bob? Yeah, okay, it looks like no motion is needed here. Let's move on to project updates with Andy Began.
All right. Hi, everybody. So our filtration or our PFAS removal system arrived last week. So what you're seeing on the screen are the pressure vessels. Those are at our shop right now. We're still finishing the walls in the building at Riverside Drive. Oh, sorry, my presentation is getting carried away on me. The mason is still putting the walls up. They're going to be done probably tomorrow, and then another week of brickwork. Then the roof goes on. And so I think by the end of March, we should have the building weather tight and buttoned up, ready to put the vessels in. So we're in the process of finalizing our piping arrangement with those and getting those pieces ordered. And we're toying with the idea of doing it internal labor, or bidding it out, because right now is not such a bad time for us if we can get in there and get our folks piping it up. So we're considering that, but that's still on the table. North Augusta, we're still exploring. As you remember, we put one 8-inch hole in the ground. We tested it, performed very well. We got 500,000 gallons a day out of that hole. We're doing another 8-inch test well this week. They should finish developing it, and then we'll be able to do a prolonged pumping test for a week probably. And we're also trying to dust off our study from the Dosty property and see if we want to expand out there. So I've re-engaged with the Dostys. If you recall, that's out towards Mount Vernon Road. So we're in those conversations to see if we're going to do a pumping test out there as well. Triangle Well, we were in dire straits for water for a little while, or it made us nervous. I'll put it that way. Not dire straits, but we got nervous. We had a well offline for cleaning, and we had to purchase a temporary pump that added another 500,000 gallons a day to the system as we buttoned up some leaks. So the good news is the leaks have been repaired. We continue to monitor our leak program, and we have plenty of water to pump into the system. So nothing to report there. Brooks and St. Catherine, that'll fire up hopefully in April. And the only update with the trunk line 2 and 4 upgrades was we've been submitting our environmental review document to EPA. So we're hoping to dust that off and get some action moving on that one. Davenport Street, I just found out today, I got an email from the contractor. They want to start sooner than they anticipated. So we're looking at a April, May start date. So they'll be done in plenty of time to meet that October 30th deadline. So that was good news. And Amherst, this one's still on hold right now. Still needing to review the former Kmart development. That one's been kind of on my back burner to evaluate and get out. And Memorial Drive, we put a lot of time into this design. You know, it's one of our busiest intersections in Augusta, and we're trying to put a 30-inch pipe through it. So we're considering several options and trying to narrow down, you know, the best path and plan of attack. Walgreens, unfortunately, we're not having good luck working with them. There's really no one property owner. It's an LLC, and apparently the owners of the LLC are all over the place. There's many of them. So we're dealing with realtors on that property, and it's not looking favorable to go through that area. So we're exploring alternatives. Anyway, it's not a project that would start this year. We're just going through the deep dive of the planning and design. Eastern Ave, same thing. We're tackling a lot of planning and design here. We're probably a little more than 80% of the way through the design, but this will be a big project for next year to replace over 100-year-old infrastructure. And that's all I have.
Okay. I guess up next, if not any questions to Andy, let's move on to the general manager report with Brian Tarbuck.
Yeah, thanks very much, Ken. You'll see here a picture of the good-looking guy on the left. That's Mike Morey. He's worked for us now for, check my notes, 37 years. He's planning to retire at the end of this year, to the chagrin of a lot of contractors and engineers who worked with him for a long time now. Certainly along with us and everybody really everybody at the utility district. It's hard to overstate just how much Mike knows just in his head about particularly the drinking water system. And we've dragged him along, and now he knows quite a lot about the wastewater system as well. So when he told me he was going to retire, I felt pretty sad, but I felt like the least we could do is see if we could get an award for him, and certainly that worked out. So the Sid Anthony Award is awarded annually to somebody who's made loads of contributions to the drinking water field, and Mike certainly checks off those boxes. And it's a Maine Water Utilities Association award that's named after Sid Anthony, who was the general manager at the Augusta Water District from, check my notes again, 1926 to 1972, 47 years. So Mike's pretty close. I asked him if he wanted to do another 10, see if he can match up, and he said nope. he's out, but we'll miss him a lot. And I'm just really, really happy that he was selected and given this award. So just excellent for Mike. So just gonna miss him. On this, the guy on the right is standing on a box, just in case you're wondering. But the guy on the right is John Cummins. He's been to a couple board meetings. He's one of our engineers. When he's not doing engineering, he's doing plant operations down at the wastewater treatment facility. And Andy presented him with the President's Award this year. Andy is finally done with his one-year tour of the presidency of the Maine Water Utilities Association. Had a lot of challenges, some really weird stuff happened, but he navigated them really, really well. And as a result, he gets to give someone else an award, and chose John. So certainly really proud of both Mike and John. It was a great conference, 100th year, just a lot of fun. So congratulations, John. Speaking of a lot of fun, I think we talked a little bit about this, but I'm never going to get tired of talking about it. Our pipe tapping team, there's a picture. We didn't have a lot of great pictures. It's just hard to get some. It's hard to get great pictures of that because it's just people moving really fast and they're not there for a long time. But there's a black pipe down at the bottom, and that gizmo on the top is a pipe tapping machine. And those guys are working as fast as they can to get a piece of copper stuck into that black pipe so that it doesn't leak. So normally this would take a while. Like you're making these taps, they're going to last for 100 years. But the purpose of this is to be a fun competition, kind of like a pit crew, maybe in NASCAR is the thing you're most familiar with, just to see how fast you can do it. These are national competitions. By way of example, national championships, they'll get down to 1 minute and 47, 1 minute 40-second range. We won the state of Maine championship just recently with about a 2:32, and they're already talking about how they can take 20 to 30 seconds off that. So we're going to be national champs. It seems unlikely, but we're going to be a lot faster next year. Credit again to Jason Sauser, who's in the top of the gray hard hat there. He runs our road crew, and one of his right-hand men, Dave Robinson, helped coach the guys. They watched some videos, learned another few tips and tricks. We're able to shave a lot of time off. They beat the next closest Maine team by a full minute. And that was after they came in from working on a water main break. It was really, really cold that day. So those guys are Scott Hoyt. You can see him on the left, and Ryan Bucknam and Colton Miller. Ryan's in the middle. Colton's on the right. Colton was really hard to see even in the video because he's so fast. But anyway, very proud of those guys. I'm making more of a deal about it than I should, I guess. But it's just very cool, and I'm very proud of them. So other folks we're proud of: Hardy Cummings worked for us for 4 years. He's down at the wastewater treatment plant. Hardy's just a very solid, steady guy. He convinced his nephew to come work for us, Tucker Cummings. You've heard us talk about him from time to time. Tucker's been with us a couple of years, but without Hardy, we wouldn't have got Tucker. And Tucker's been thrilled to work here. And he and Hardy have had an opportunity lately to work together, and they've just really had a great time doing that. Pat Gilbert works for us 2 days a week and has been at it with us now for a couple of years. He's out helping locate and doing some dig safe work and some backflow prevention and really any of the technical stuff that he can help out with. And he's having a good time doing it, and it's super helpful for us. So thankful for both of those guys. I had a lengthy, as you guys have read, GM report. I'm not going to go over it all. The lead and copper is going well. We're kind of on standby for now. tried and failed to get to the NUIA conference down in Boston. I was going to go down. The train was late anyway, so I never really got to see the conference. But better luck next year. Went to a very interesting cybersecurity presentation. I made a very brief presentation. The Chancellor of UMA was there. The local UMA president, the Chancellor of the UMaine system was there. UMA president was there. A couple other local dignitaries, including Brigadier General. I don't meet too many generals in my line of work, so that was pretty exciting. We talked a while about cybersecurity and the different assets and things that if we had a real emergency that we could just kind of reach out and they'd be able to help with. So it's really interesting. Every year, guilty pleasure is that I always watch Punxsutawney Phil. Does he see his shadow or not? And he did, or he didn't. I don't know. Well, anyway, it's 6 more weeks of winter. So obviously we're seeing that today, and we saw it a month ago. So maybe he's right this time. His stats are not good. It's like 40% accurate, but that's what you get for making a woodchuck your weather guy. I had a meeting with Hollowell Water District about their progress with PFAS. They have a different set of circumstances than we do. So as a result, it's a little more challenging for them to install treatment, but it's going very, very well. They've reached out for some communications help, I think, with to Meredith, and that's great. So putting those local connections together with people that we know and trust is great. Talked about the water utility conference. Dan Wells retired. I got a picture of that in there for you. That was a really nice thing. And in classic Dan Wells from Winthrop Utility District's fashion, I like, Dan, you want to say anything? And he didn't even say anything when he could say something. He just shook his head. So it was classic. It's really funny. And miss working with Dan. I worked with him for 20 some odd years, and it'll be interesting working with a new guy and different, but wish him all the best. I went to the Hollowell City Council back on February 9th and explained to them why our sewer costs go up, where our sludge goes, because it's a PFAS component, of course. Talked a little bit about our water treatment, but mostly focused on wastewater, and if they had any questions about that, to certainly ask. And then finally, just because there's not enough acronyms in the world, the LTCP for CSOs, give anybody $5 if they know what that all means, but long-term control plan for combined sewer overflows. We're working those. Remember that combined sewer overflows happen when water and stormwater, drinking water. I'm going to take 3. Sewer and stormwater often share the same pipe because it's so hard to get pipes in these older systems. And sometimes when the stormwater overwhelms the wastewater, it overflows, and it's combined sewer overflow. So we've been working at those since the early 1990s. We've got something on the order of 93% reduction. Every 5 years, we put together a long-term control plan, and those have been well received. Very interesting to see the progress we've made. We're going to continue to make good progress, and Andy alluded to that earlier when he talked about the Coney Rotary and how we're going to consolidate a bunch of stormwater and separate that so that we have more space or overhead in our wastewater treatment system so we can take on some new developments. So very, very cool. I actually reached out recently to Dale Glidden, my predecessor, and thanked him for the work he did to set us up. And he said, wow, you guys have taken it to the next level. So it's really cool to get some accolades from a guy I really admire and respect too, who did this work for 30 years before I did. So just cool stuff. So we're making good progress on that. And I think that's all I have.
Sounds good. Any
questions? No, it's a lot. Brad was timing me and I went over my allotment, but I got excited there for a minute.
No timer tonight, Brian.
Very nice.
Thanks, Brian. Any questions for Brian? Hearing none. PFAS litigation. PFAS forever chemicals. Andy's talked about that in the summary. So unless anybody has a question, in here. PFAS litigation. Any updates, or do you want to? It's pretty. What you said in the April 2026 is our no-go. Probably some information next month if we need it, so we're not at the last minute in April. But anybody have anything on this or questions? If not,
Ken, I want to thank Keith for putting out that memo on giving his concept of what's happening. I found it very interesting, and I appreciate that he did that.
Yes, thank you, Keith. Okay, any other questions on that? Brad?
I think we should take a vote on this in March. I see more and more people talking about being involved in these. I don't want to be left behind if they think that they have a better shot somewhere else. This board often functions on unanimous votes, and I think it's okay if that vote isn't unanimous, but I'm ready to take a vote on that. And I think, just out of kind of fair warning for all, I would propose we do that in March.
Brian, you and I can talk about that, but I see no reason we couldn't do that in March. I think Brad's point is very valid, and at this point, unless there was some valid reason to wait a month, which I don't believe there will be, and let's make that an agenda item for next month, unless somebody has a.
Yep, we'll
do that. If you do, just vote against it. Okay. Hearing that, let's move on to new business and review of financial statements. Mike Payne and Brian, you put a note on here, and I talked to Mike last week too. Mike's doing a lot of work right now. We still don't have the 2024 audit, and he's got RKO, and we've got the new audit team. So there'll come a point when he can get enough information, but it is a challenge. And thank you, Mike, for really doing yeoman's work on that.
Yep, no problem at all. It's definitely a little bit of a challenge, and I'll keep everybody updated with that 24 report when we get it. Okay, so starting out the new year, so January, I was going to put something that says interim or whatever, because we know these will change, but nonetheless, for January, so we started out the month 553,000 in revenues, and that's about right in line with budget. About 54,000 above the same period last year. Expenses were at 381,000. That's also right in line with budget, and about 43,000 below last year. And cash, so we started the month at 5 million, ended at 5.6 million. During the month, we had 650,000 in operating revenues. Expenses were 319,000. Capital expenses were 67,000. Just want to point out, so the graph looks kind of odd compared to typical. So we were kind of blessed with a larger cash balance at year end, just for some projects that were kind of delayed and what happened during this year. So you can see that, drop as the year goes on, but it does start out, very high as you can see. So not unexpected, but just wanted to point that out. Sewer division revenues at 563,000. That's also right in line with budget, about 48,000 above last year. Expenses 380,000, and that's about 1% under budget, and about 28,000 below the same period last year. Okay, cash started out at 1.7 million. We had 614,000 in operating revenues, about 208,000 in O&M expenses, and 81,000 in capital project expenses. End of the month at 1.9 million. But also just to point out on this cash graph, you can see it literally is almost exactly the same as far as the projections for where we started cash projects and we finish up the year with a storm. So it is interestingly very, very similar if things go, how we budgeted and whatnot. Storm division revenue 365,000. That's about 1% over budget, about 7,000 below where we were last year. Expenses 237,000, which is also right in line with the budget, and about 4,000 below where we were last year. Cash started the month at 2.8 million. We had 421,000 operating expenses. In revenues. O&M expenses are 162,000. Cash ended at 2.9 million. And you can see also here on this cash chart that a very similar flow, starting out the year a little bit higher. But you can see the typical dip as we get later into the year.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Ken mentioned that about the 2024 audit. And I have already started on 2025, the kind of the pieces that I can start with, things that either won't change. So I kind of started at it, but it's one of those, it's almost like a hurry up and wait. So it's kind of an odd spot to be in, but we'll just keep chugging along like we are.
Hey, Mike, when it can be, at some point, there's got to be we've kind of had enough. I mean, it's 2026. And at some point, I mean, you and I have had this kind of conversation. I don't know if there's any updates you can give to the board, but at some point, when do we call it enough? Or when does that give you enough information to be able to do that?
I mean, I really can do, so two things, but I can do my year-end work now. If there are any changes to the challenge, if there are any changes to the 2024 for any reasons, it starts out the 2025 audited numbers that I give to the new firm. It starts them out with numbers that aren't
I get it.
or finalized. So it's kind of a weird limbo position. So it's really hard to just say, all right, we need the audit period. Because RKO really has the control. I guess I'd say we don't have much for bargaining chips or much of anything to be able to push with. So it's not a great spot to be in.
So I mean, this could go on for the rest of the year, right?
Well, I hope it won't, based on Tim's latest email was he didn't have an ETA, but that they were working diligently on it.
Okay.
So
Let us know when you get frustrated.
yeah, we'll do. Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to we get some liens to talk about tonight, and there's a couple of motions in there, and hopefully everybody's had a chance to look at this and find out what's going on. And Brian, perhaps maybe, you know, the city foreclosed on the 29 Boothby Street property, it appears, in 219. You guys have already written off about 15 grand of this stuff, or almost 16 in 219, and you still got liens of just shy of 12. So the people that bought it didn't buy it for much, and they just said, hey, would we take 5, which is more than they paid for it? What's your management thing on this?
Yeah, thanks. Randy's also on the line here and has dealt with these personally and can fill in any of the blanks. The first one at 29 Boothby, you present it precisely correctly. The people who are buying the thing said, would you take 5 grand? If it's much more than that, I don't think we can make this deal work. So it's really not up to me. This is one of those things that the board should really do. And the same goes just shortly thereafter. A different set of buyers was looking at a property where the city had foreclosed and they had 4 liens and they were about $638. They wanted to waive the whole thing. At $350 is my attempt to sort of meet in the middle, kind of like we are with this other request. And with that, I'd say if you want to ask Randy some more detailed questions, you're welcome to. And Bob certainly is aware of what's going on as well.
Yeah, I'd love to hear from Randy because, again, if they foreclosed on this, the city foreclosed 2019. When they foreclosed, they wiped out our liens. They become the owner of that property. Did somebody else buy that? Randy, please walk me through this thing, because if we wrote off 15,700 in 2019, what's 11,685 for? And how is the buyer coming to us to try and get rid of liens?
So what happened was the city foreclosed. We had already had 11,685 in lien status that we were able to lien. The rest of the balance of the 15,000, we did not. It wasn't time to lien it yet, so we decided to hold off on putting any more expense into the liens, the future liens, and just waived the liens that were already there. And then this is when we were debating on what to do when the city foreclosed on properties. To get it off of our books, the liens are still there, but we did write off the total balance of this account. So there was no buyers in between the city and this new one that is thinking about buying it. It's just been sitting there, a vacant lot since the city foreclosed. I should back up. The city demolished the building quite a few years ago, and it's just been sitting a vacant lot.
So I guess I don't understand the additional dollars, because when the city becomes the owner of the property, and with the new laws that got passed by the state, any profit from the sales goes to pay off, like this, the lien holder of the city, and then we're out of luck, and anything beyond that goes back to the owner of the property at that time. So I just confused by that.
I think that we would have to ask the city if they made any money off this. That I don't know. That was not told to me.
No, the issue with this was an error in the foreclosure process that the city went through. So it's created this unique opportunity, and I'm not sure opportunity is the right word. It's extraordinary. It's excruciatingly difficult to relate the process. The city is attempting to sell this property for a fraction of the amount in it. The commercial, the value of this property is a fraction of this lien, the amount that the God has in liens, and that's because apparently my understanding is there was a broken water line that went undetected for several months that hyperinflated the billable amount related to the property, which played some role, I suppose, in the property owner walking away from it. Under normal circumstances, had the city gone through the proper notification process, or if we waited an additional 2 years to act on the sale of this property, we would be able to effectively wipe out this and any other lien to make this tax foreclosed sale. I think my suggestion is that the district take this. It's not free money, but it's an extraordinary opportunity to accept that $5,000 offer, because it's $5,000 more than the district would have received if the foreclosure process had been done properly by the city back in 2019. And for everyone here knows that was, from our standpoint, 3 finance directors ago. So one of the challenges that we have had in selling these, the initial backlog of tax foreclosed properties, is that we have title attorneys, different title attorneys looking at any number of different foreclosure processes that were conducted in many respects many years ago, several finance directors ago, uncovering errors that we did not know existed, and here we are. So the good news is that we've got an opportunity, the district has an opportunity to help the city put this property back on the tax rolls and into some kind of productive use, and cash a check for $5,000, which it otherwise wouldn't. So on that basis, it's a unique opportunity. I would not necessarily anticipate that this type of opportunity, or if you wanted to think of it as a potential strategy, it's not going to manifest itself that way. But that's how we got here today.
I thank you, Keith, for doing that. I agree 100% with you. It's $5,000. Then what it does for the district, it becomes a recovery. The money's coming in after it's been charged off. So whenever you get any money after the charge off, it then is counted as a recovery for that fiscal year that you get the money back in. Secondly, who came up with the figures of 5,000 and the 350? Did those people ask, or did we give them those numbers?
I did not give him any numbers, because in my time, this is the first time anybody has ever come in and asked for that. So he came in and he said, how about I give the district $5,000? And I'm like, that I can't make the decision, the board needs to. So yeah, no, I would never give out an amount of money. That's not my job.
And the 350 is just me. I was trying to see if there's some way to split the baby. It sounds to me, though, from Keith's description, that one we just waive and write off, because I doubt that it's worth trying to figure out whether or not that lien's been perfected for $638 or even $350. So I was just trying to put a number on there for you guys to have a conversation about it.
Well, I think the only one he was talking about, correct me, Keith, is the 29 Boothby Street. We hadn't gotten to the.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
Correct.
We
true.
haven't gotten to the northern
And I think the origin of the number is that our real estate agent, in trying to facilitate this sale, suggested that as a strategy for the buyer in interacting with the district to help move this forward. So I think
And I
it's a
think
credit to
what
Katie
happened after that
McAllister.
is exactly how this should be handled. The number should come in, it should go before the board, and the board would give a yay, nay, or approval on that thing.
Yeah.
And so the 350, the Northern Avenue has not been charged off, correct?
No,
Okay, great.
yeah, that's just in lien, and that customer called and just asked if we would discharge the liens. He did not give a figure. He just asked if we could
Right,
discharge
and
them.
again, these are two buyers of these properties out there. And I feel, I'd like to make a motion. We accept the offer of 5,000 to release the God lien claims on property at 29 Booth Bank.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any more discussion on motion number one there? Hearing none, can you call the roll, Andy?
Bob Corey,
Yes,
Brad Sawyer,
Aye.
Cecil Munson,
Yes.
Kara Tubman Walker,
Yes.
Ken Knight,
Aye.
Pat Parody.
Aye.
I think I got everybody.
Okay, let's move on to the next one, number 2. Motion to waive the 4 liens and maybe just make that a clean one is what I heard for no money.
no,
Yeah.
I move to waive the 4 liens at 102 Northern Avenue in exchange for a payment of 350.
Is it gonna go with that, Brian, or not? Is that gonna throw a monkey wrench in this?
I honestly don't know. I'm thinking about how you might change that to, for example, to go back to Keith's point, the other person offered to pay us something at Northern Avenue. They didn't. Is that correct, Randy? They just wanted it to
Correct.
be waived. And I
Correct.
just said, well, maybe we could get some money out of it instead of $0. But as Keith was explaining, it's complicated to do that. And if we had to get attorneys involved, it wouldn't be worth it. So I think you could probably just say we're going to waive them and not get the $638 at all. Keith, you want to?
I'll pipe in. Why don't we give? Why don't my suggestion is that we give Brian the latitude to make that offer, and if they're
Yes.
willing to pay $350, let's take it. And if that looks like it's going to kill the deal, then we give Brian the authority to just waive it. And based on my fiduciary responsibility, such as it is, as a trust, as non-voting trustee, I will not share that. This is an open meeting, I suppose. I will not go out of my way to suggest that as a strategy to the potential buyer.
So Brian, could we do that and find out what it is, and then we can do the motion ahead of time? What do we do? Just do it tonight?
I move that we just amend the motion to
Okay.
leave it up to Brian. If we can do it, we should do it. If we reach any backflow out of it, we say that's fine.
Yep, I understand. I'll work with Randy and property owner 102 and see what we can work out.
Do I hear a second on that motion?
Second.
Andy, call the roll on it, please, unless there's more discussion.
Bob Corey,
Yes,
Brad Sawyer,
No.
Cecil Munson,
Yeah.
Kara Tubman Walker,
Yes.
Ken Knight,
Aye.
Pat Parody.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. So Brian, you'll let us know on that. Let's move on, unless there's any more discussion, let's move on to the personnel policy update of the paid work paid no work, AKA snow day. And I hope everybody had a chance to read what this is about. Looks like this applies to non-union. Obviously, they need to get it approved for the union, which I would think people would if this passes. I guess my first question I had on this when I read it is, how is it funded? How do you fund that based upon, or is it backed into the budget already and it was under something else?
Yeah, this is not something that we set aside in the budget at all. This is one of those things where today is a good example. Inclement weather or some other kind of event that happens that requires us to send people home for the day or not have them come in. How do you pay them to do this? So this is one attempt to put some language to it. The easy way to do it is just treat it like a holiday. And then if somebody has to come in and do some work, we pay them as if it's a holiday. Don't have to do that. It's just an easy way to do that. You could say, well, I'll just pay them time and a half, but certainly if it's dangerous, if we believe it's dangerous enough to ask people to stay home, then it also makes sense to pay some sort of premium if we require somebody to come in. So in the meantime, people have their own, home to take care of in a bad weather event. So
what have we done in the past? I mean, this is, I mean, I can remember many times when we've done this in the district in the past because of things going on and how we handled it in the past. I mean, it's because it's not the first time that we've been doing it today.
No, it's not. Excuse me. A month ago, we did the same thing. It happens probably a couple times a year now. As you guys all know, people are more and more likely to call off the state of Maine and the city and all kinds of other things for weather events that 25 years ago we would not have done that. But nowadays it makes a little more sense to keep people off the roads, makes it easier for people to clear snow and all that. And oftentimes there's not a whole lot for our road crew guys to do if they're here at the office and all they're doing is just plowing snow all day, not getting much else done. So that's why we need some kind of language to define what it is we do. Now, it could be that, for example, if you're hourly and you don't get called in, you just get regular day's pay. If your salary don't get called in, or you do get called in, it's the regular day's pay. So this is really only for people that are going to get called in, or let's say half a day happened and we lost power at the office or something else happened along those lines. And we said, well, there's no point in being here. Just go home and we'll see you tomorrow. We need to define exactly for payroll purposes and for audits and whatever, what it is we're going to do. So the language you see in front of you is our best attempt to say, well, just treat it like a holiday and
I might not call it a snow day because you could do it for a hurricane or trees. So, I mean, I think I get the message of why you kind of like to have a policy because you're trying to make the audits all the time. Makes sense to me. I would just use some other word than a snow day because we could do this in the middle of summer or the middle of the fall or spring when it's nothing to do with snow. So if it can be changed that way, whatever you and Alan and you guys come up with, I think we could do it. It's kind of the first draft of it, or is it? Because I haven't heard about this before until tonight. So
no, this is a draft, and if you don't want to take action today, you certainly don't have to. Take some time to chew on it. I think in other boards, they might call it a first reading. Sometimes if everybody's on board with it, it flows right through, and nobody wants to look at a second time. But in something like this, if you want to just table it for the next time, I'm totally fine with that.
And this is our attempt to put to writing a practice that we've had for the last few years.
Well, it looks like the motion talks just about a paid no work language. So I guess that motion would be, if I think that's not a bad, and then you're going to make the language kind of reflect that rather than just a certain kind of a day. I motion more says what I would more say. It's kind of a paid no work day versus a snow day. That probably is easy to do tonight. So I guess I would say to the board, if everybody's all right, somebody should make a motion then. Or if not, we'll.
I guess what I'd like to do on the thing, Ken, you said exactly what I was thinking. Also, I don't want to see it called a snow day because there's so many different things that could bring that up. And I see this, as Alan and Brian has said, this is clarification to something that we've been doing for a while. And just putting it down in writing so nobody can give any issue. And if I understood it right, then you will present it to the union also, because they need to get it approved on that thing. And I guess I would just say a motion of the fact that we move to modify the personnel policy manual to include the pay no work language presented at its meeting, and as long as you don't use snow, but you use a little bit different wording in accomplishing that.
Is that a motion?
Yes.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion on this motion? Andy, please call a roll for a vote.
Bob Corey,
Yes.
Brad Sawyer,
Yes.
Cecil Munson,
Yes.
Kara Tubman Walker,
Yes.
Ken Knight,
Aye.
Pat Parody.
Aye.
That's it.
Thank you, everybody. Okay. Moving on, communications update with Meredith Strang Burgess.
Hey, guys. I'm glad everybody is safe and sound and has not blown away. Brian and I have been in touch. We were monitoring very closely. Brian has done a phenomenal job at keeping me in the loop as the Wells were playing games with all of these guys in the chance that we would have to do some other things, but the pump worked and you guys did a phenomenal job. And Andy is out prospecting for more well locations, and the PFAS equipment is happening. And yes, Brian, we will get a spring newsletter out. And we will also have the fun thing. And I don't know, Brian, did you mention this in your report that you've got the in the regional commission for water quality and all of that? I can't even say their name. That's coming up on Thursday of this coming week to make some videos and record the wonderful people that we have at God. Brian, can you hear me?
Yeah, that's correct. The New England Interstate Water Pollution Control Commission, kind of a mouthful, the one that's been around since 1947. I'm one of the few main commissioners that's on there. They, out of the blue, said, hey, we'd like to do some work, some video and some photography of a plant in Maine. Wondered if you might be interested, and said, sure, it'd be great. So they're coming up on Thursday. Hopefully, weather and whatnot, it's going to be fine. And we'll participate in that. So I'll let you know how that all turns out. I think, Meredith, you were planning on coming up, and I figured it was part of your shtick anyway. So I didn't want to take
yeah. Well, it'll be great. They're supposedly bringing like a whole crew. So hopefully we'll get some assets that we can use for our own things. So very good. And thanks, Brian, for setting it up.
Very good. Anything else here tonight? Questions for Meredith? Hearing none. Let's move on to HR and Alan Burton.
Thank you, Ken. Last month we had 4 openings. This month we only have 2. We filled the one utility worker opening and a distribution operator. So making progress there. 1 outstanding job description to complete. Still working on updates for the personnel policy manual. And we continue to work on communication and feedback loops. That's it.
Any questions for Alan? Thank you, Alan. And Brian, is there? I don't see any public comment. Is there anybody on this online that I haven't seen, Andy, or is it just us here? Looks like just us here. So, Mr. Sawyer.
Oh, one quick question, please. Brian, you talked about a movie.
Yes. You recall back, a couple of weeks ago, I said, well, we go down to Bath and see this movie. It's funny. Everybody wants to see this movie about the Portland wastewater system. And it's I haven't seen it myself, but anyway, it's called Unless Something Goes Terribly Wrong, and it chronicles the plucky employees of the Portland Water District as they work on their wastewater treatment plant. I think they were something like over a year there. And I think I'm sorry, I don't have the date off top of my head, but I think I sent it
Like
to
Thursday night, Brian?
I don't have it on my calendar for some reason, but it's in early March. I thought it was the 4th. And it's at the
Okay.
legislature, 10 a.m. I know I sent a link around, but unfortunately I can't find it off the top of my head. But I will resend that link to everybody. And basically I just need to go, no go. If you're interested in attending, it's fine. It doesn't cost you anything. We're going to have lunch and you're going to watch a movie in legislative chambers. And it should be good. Everybody says it's good. So thanks for reminding me, Bob. And I'll send that out to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Brian,
Yes, sir.
it's Wednesday, the 4th of March at 10 a.m.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Yeah.
All
That's, I had it in my head, but I don't have my calendar. I don't know why.
I
Okay.
wrote down what you said. And they didn't have what room it was going to be in, but we can find that out easily.
Yeah. They said, I don't know. I think that the only email I got was in legislative chambers or something. I don't know anything about the legislature really. So.
It might be on the first floor when you come up from the elevator and all that stuff there on the right. There is a room that's electrolyzed and they can do movies and
That
stuff
could
like
be
that. It may be there, but they'll know when we come in.
Yeah. I'll find out. I'll send a reminder too. So thanks, Bob, for that reminder. And thanks for reading my emails.
We don't hang together, we'll hang separately, right? Is the old saying.
Right.
Okay, any other things for Brian and during public comment? Hearing none? Brad Sawyer,
I move this body stand adjourned.
do I hear a second?
Good night, everyone.
Do a roll call?
Everybody said yes.
Do we
Yes.
get a second?
Second.
Yeah, it should be a
Second by
second,
Bob.
I need a
All
roll
right.
call.
Bob,
Yes. Definitely.
Brad,
Yes.
Cecil,
Yep.
Kara,
Yes.
Ken,
Aye.
Pat.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Thank you for participating tonight. Appreciate it. Stay safe.
Good night.
Thank
Good night.
Bye-bye. secret about that. How complicated. No, I see it. Good. All right. I love it.
National Geographic expedition. Together, we'll explore some of the most unique and remote places on the planet. Plus, each night, you and home will have the chance to set sail as well. In a Wheel of Fortune expedition. Okay, so I am excited. Shall we? Let's twist. That's so unique. Oh, it's a classic movie. That's cool. I do never have a key. And now, yeah, but I wonder.